Another thing to pay attention to when you're evaluating your whole horse's saddle pad, how everything's looking, is make sure your horse is squared up and make sure they're on some level ground so that you've got a fair shot at standing back and eyeballing this. Because this rigging is so forward, it creates a little bit of uplift in the back of this saddle. That will be taken away when I get in the saddle and push this down. That's not a problem there. This is a very forward rigging. It does, however, line up with my horse's shoulder, or right behind the shoulder blade, because I have pushed it off of there. I have scooted this back. This is where this horse will wear this saddle when I'm riding. At this point, just like I did when I had the saddle just sitting on my horse, I'm going to check under the shoulder blade and make sure that I don't have any pinching. I'm going to slide my hand underneath here, and the CSI pad has just a healthy amount of grip, not too much that it's going to grab onto the hide, but just enough to keep the saddle in place, and I can easily get my hand in there. My next test is, and you may need another person to help you with this, is to pick up that shoulder blade and leave your hand in there underneath the bar right here, and if it gets pinched, probably your tree is too tight or you've got too much liner underneath there. Go with the next size liner down. Probably on a general level, I fit most horses to start with a 3/4 inch because they'll compress just a tiny bit after they get broke in, and they seem to be the most forgiving. If I've got horses that have real wither problems and have a big hollow behind the shoulder blade, many of those horses I have to create a custom shim to place in there to fill and lift that saddle back up. If I've got a horse that has that big dropped hollow behind the shoulder blade, which really makes the saddle sink down in there, I'll probably start with a 3/4 inch liner, and then I'll cut a shim that fills that gap behind the shoulder blade, mount it with Velcro right here and sandwich it between the layers to become that extra level of thickness that fills in the hollow where the horse doesn't have muscle tissue. And that will help level the saddle across the horse's back, and it will keep the tree up out of the hollow and off the shoulder blade so that the shoulder blade can now work underneath the saddle pad and not get in the, have the saddle get in the way of it. One thing I want to make mention of, before you decide you need shims, please ride your pad first and check for your sweat pattern and ride it a couple times. If horses have had damage to their skin, it can take a while for that skin to rejuvenate and actually sweat again when there's no pressure on it. So before you decide you have to have shims, ride it first, check it out, see how it feels. Pay a lot of attention to how you saddle your horse. Check it after 5 minutes, check it after 10 minutes. It's a piece of equipment and needs to be treated as such.